I'm 27 years old and I've managed to build an online business that does over $1 million a year. And I didn't start my entrepreneurial journey until I was into my 20s. And what's crazy is for most of those 7 years, it didn't look anything like it looks now. In fact, the big growth that I've experienced, the takeoff moment or my lucky break, if you will, didn't begin until the last 2 years. But it's only now with hindsight that I'm able to look back at those 5 years before things started to take off and look at the actions that I did and know that those actions that I took, some of them that I didn't realize at the time, were setting me up to succeed now. And so in today's video, I want to give you the 7 key things that I did that you can do if you're 19, 20, 21, and you want to become wildly successful in your 20s. Number 1 is pick and learn a valuable skill. This one's obvious and everyone talks about this one, but it's worth repeating because it's the most important part of doing any of this. If you don't have anything of value to bring to the world in the beginning, then there is no reason for anyone to care about anything that you're doing. There's no reason for you to make any money. There's no reason for people to care about your content. There's no reason for anyone to care about anything that you do. And so until you've got a skill that people are willing to pay for, that people are willing to listen to you for, there is nothing that's going to garner the attention required for you to build the business you want. And that skill is not going to be as sexy as you want it to be in the beginning. It's not going to be the skill that makes you your millions. It's going to be the skill that gets you a couple $100 a month. It's going to be the kind of thing that you could freelance for. For me, it was video editing. The first skill I ever learned that got me creating content online was video editing. And I used that skill to go and become a card runner and an assistant video editor at a media agency that did high-end real estate in Melbourne. I was paid barely anything, but that was the first time I was able to use a skill to get contract work. And because I had contract work, I was able to control my hours and commit time to working on the things that I wanted to work on. And then slowly over time, I learned the skill of video from being surrounded by other people. And then suddenly that became my skill. And slowly but surely, I've continued to move up and up and up, adding new skills to my arsenal to the point where now I'm this complete picture entrepreneur that's able to do the things that I do, but it's only because I've stacked those skills over time. So understand it is absolutely crucial that you pick a skill in the beginning and become exceptional at that thing to the point where people are willing to pay you for it and listen to you talk about it. Number 2 is kind of antagonistic to the title of this video, but play the long game. So many young people I see online are so fixated on getting the results they want now that they sacrifice the results they could get 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if they just played a slightly longer game. You have to simultaneously understand that achieving the success that you want to achieve is going to take way longer than you want it to, but in the very same vein, that time is going to pass way faster than you think it will. No one has ever lived life and looked back and gone, wow, time went slowly. And so you can either complain about not having what you want now, chasing after quick fixes, fucking crypto, drop shipping, all this bullshit that doesn't ever fucking work, or you can build something sustainably for the long term, and both of you are gonna have your time go by like that. And you'll either have played the long game and had your results compound into something incredible, or you'll have jumped from thing to thing to thing to thing, worked just as hard as the person that's now successful, but you'll have nothing to show for it. There is no shortcut. It's not like you get to choose to achieve something faster or slower. You wait for time to compound the results of your actions. Number 3, start learning to make content and build your personal brand. I think personal branding is honestly the single greatest opportunity of our lifetimes. I don't think there has ever been an opportunity in history that allows people to take literally nothing and turn it into a business that is worth potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. There has never been a situation in history where that is possible for an individual at an individual level. And so building a personal brand, in my opinion, is the greatest opportunity that exists right now. Not only for building your inevitable business, but for the skills that you have to develop if you want to build a personal brand. The skill of content creation. I think organic content creators are the best marketers on the planet. And that's not by accident. It's because the skills you need in order to garner thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of impressions each month organically are incredibly difficult, and the kind of skills that marketing firms and businesses would literally kill for. And so if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna go down this pathway of trying to build a business, you might as well create content, document your journey, and build your personal brand at the same time. Because the worst case scenario is you don't really grow your audience, nothing really happens with the personal brand side of things, but you walk away with a set of skills that will only help you grow your business. And the upside is that you grow a personal brand so big that it independently becomes the opportunity that makes you your millions. I don't think there's any reason, if you're trying to build a business in this century, that you don't accompany it with building your personal brand. Number 4, value learning, but prioritize action. I see this a lot in the space, especially at the moment. There's this thing of being proud about the amount of money that you've spent on mentoring, coaches, gurus, all this sort of stuff. And I agree, I've had coaches in the past that have given me individual things that have made tremendous differences in my progression. I invested in a program in 2022 that arguably put me on the path of what I've done now. So that one investment of a couple $100 has turned into millions of dollars. And I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaching since then. So I agree that there is value there. But I think some people, especially young people who are really ambitious, like myself and like you watching this video now, we have a tendency to be always looking for the next solution. We're always looking for the person that has the answer or the thing that has the answer, because we are constantly fighting the desire to be where we want to go faster. And that makes us feel like everyone else except for ourselves has the answer. Pulling back from that mindset a little and understanding that action will show you the way almost 99% of the time should give you the confidence to go, I don't need as much mentoring or coaches or courses as I think I do. Since 2016 till now, if I think about what was the crucial thing that led to where I am, it's by taking a shitload of action. It's by posting thousands of times on social media. It's by making thousands of videos. It's by working thousands of hours. It's by doing everything that I've done to get here. I like to think about it like this. I used to play Age of Empires a lot when I was a kid, and I remember loading into a new world, and all you would have is your little circle of people, and then everything around that would be completely black. And you didn't know where to go, you didn't know what to do. All you knew is you had an objective list, and you knew that there were enemies out there. You knew that anywhere that you went in any direction could be the end of your little group of people. And so it was either you stay there and those people die anyway, or you move and figure out the way to go. You don't know where the resources are going to be, or whether there's going to be an army or a castle or whatever you're going to get to, but you have to take action. And then slowly, as you take more action, you find more resources. And then with the resources, you find more recipes for being able to build the things you want to build. And slowly over time, you're able to understand what to do based on taking action. I think entrepreneurship is exactly the same. Yes, you can have people who can give you a glimpse into what may be out there, but most of the time, it's just taking action, going out into the darkness, figuring out what lays out there, coming back, and then reassessing what you should do next based on what you learned. That is entrepreneurship 9 times out of 10. Honestly, 9 times out of 10 doesn't even do it justice. 99.999% of the time, that is how entrepreneurship works. Number 5, and there are going to be a lot of people that disagree with me on this one, but focus on the actions that make you money. I think there's this mindset, especially with the people that I work with, a lot of my clients, a lot of my students, a lot of the people in my programs, all tend to have this mindset that you kind of have to pay your dues before you get to make money, or the desire to make money when you're early to the game is somehow antagonistic to the outcome of achieving your goals of building a business. But it was only once I finally started to prioritize the actions that were actually moving the needle towards making money that my business started to make real considerable progress. In the past, I kind of built my personal brand, but then did freelance work on the side because I was told by, the Gary V's of the world that I should wait to monetize, or I should wait to start my business, or I should wait to ask. But it was only once I flipped the switch and decided, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna try and make money. I'm gonna try and move the needle. I'm gonna focus on the actions each week that actually put money in my bank account, that my business actually started to move forward. Whether it's freelance projects, whether it's cold outreach, whether it's reaching out to your network, whether it's doing ads, whether it's sending emails, whatever it is, focus on those needle moving actions as well as the brand building actions. It's okay to do the things that set you up really nicely to make money in the future, but you need to support yourself now. Because I think one of the biggest things that I've learned, especially in the last year, is that by making more money, your business will make more money. You almost reach this point of escape velocity where I'm now in a position where if I wanted to, I could hire a full-time videographer, no questions asked. I could hire another editor, no questions asked. I could hire someone to just do all of the annoying shit in my business, no questions asked, and it's not a problem. And that ability to be able to do that separates me from everyone else because I have the capital to be able to invest in doing that. And obviously when you're first starting out and you're only making a couple $100s to a few $1,000s a month, that's not possible. But by making those few $1,000s a month, maybe it's your time you're able to commit to it. Maybe it means you can go back to part-time instead of full-time at your job because you're prioritizing making money. Maybe it means that you don't have to say yes to as many freelance jobs and so you're able to make more content. The whole purpose of prioritizing making money in the short term will help your business make more money because it'll set you up to be able to allocate more time to building this. And if you can do that, this will start to snowball. Number 6, everyone has to start at the bottom. And you have to work your way up slowly. There is no other way around it. I think a lot of you may look at my business now and choose to try and replicate that now. And I see this a lot. I see a lot of young guys try to do these make money online businesses or try to do coaching or mentorship or help other people build their personal brand. It's a really sexy thing to help other people build their personal brand right now. And I see a lot of people do this without realizing that the only reason that that business works for me now is because of the 8 years I had prior that built up to that point, that built my resume that made me capable of doing this. But if you take the exact same copy, the exact same landing page, the exact same offer, the exact same business and put it on yours, it may not work for you at all because you haven't built the evidence to support that business yet. And so you have to understand that everyone starts at the bottom. Everyone starts doing the shit that they don't really want to do because it helps you graduate to eventually get to the stuff you want to do. A great quote that I use to remind myself even now, because there are businesses that I would love to run one day. There's a way I would love to run my business in the future that I know I'm not yet capable of. But a great quote I use to remind myself of the path that I'm on is that your current business is almost never your last business. My own example of this is photography. I picked up a camera in 2016 for God knows why, but I picked up a camera and I decided to start photography and sharing my photography online. And those first few photos were horrible, but I enjoyed the skill enough to continue investing in it. No one was willing to pay me. No one really cared about my social media. No one really followed me online, but I continued doing it. To the point where one day, one of the PTs or the other PTs at the gym I worked at came to me and asked if I could take photos of him for his website. And me not having any idea how much to charge, I asked for $50. He said yes straight away. And we did it. That was the first time I ever got paid for one of my skills. And so even though that was way under minimum wage and way less than I should have been paid, it was the first time that I ever had someone pay me for a skill that I had learnt. And so I continued. I learnt videography. And then from videography, I learnt editing. And then from editing, I picked up a part-time contract job at a real estate videography agency. And I did that. And that meant I didn't have to be a PT anymore. And so I could invest more time in this skill. And from that, I started shooting weddings. And then from learning weddings, I learnt Facebook ads and lead gen and working with clients and all the things you needed to run a business. I learned how to manage my taxes. I learned how to manage cash flow. I learned how to do all the things that were involved in running my own business. I continued doing that. And then I started building my personal brand with digital art and photography and videography. And I did that for long enough to the point where over 5 years, I built my personal brand and my skill as a videographer enough that I was able to sell assets or digital assets online in relation to videography that then were able to make me enough money that I no longer had to do videography anymore. And then I did that for long enough where I was making enough money that other creators started asking me how I was making money with digital assets. And so I started teaching other videographers and other creators how to do this. And then based on that, other people started asking me how I was running my business, teaching other people how to sell digital assets. And so I started doing that. And it's only now after 8 years of slow progression, graduating through those steps, that I'm now able to run the business I am based on the evidence I have in all of those former skills, all of those former businesses and all those former avenues have now created my ability to run the business I do today. I didn't start here. I started as a shitty photographer earning $50 for 6 hours of work from the PT or the other PT in my gym. And now I'm here doing what I do now, making over $1 million a year. And number 7, build a high tolerance for difficult things. This is one that I would recommend everyone in their 20s do, regardless of whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not. But I think developing a high tolerance for difficult things is only going to set you up well for the future, for regardless of what you do. And I think you can do that by putting challenges in front of yourself that you genuinely don't know you're going to be able to complete. For me, I love this in the form of endurance sport. I love running marathons and ultra marathons and Ironmans. I love doing things that I genuinely don't know I'm capable of doing. Not only does that constantly humble me every single year when I do these events and allows me to recalibrate what I know I'm capable of. So when I go into situations, whether it be a stressful launch with work, or I'm building something, or I'm just working long hours and it's really difficult, I can look back at those situations and understand on a deep level what I'm truly capable of as a human, and use that as my anchor to continue to push me through the things that I know I have to do. And I think it's only going to lead to positive outcomes if you have in the back of your mind real, genuine evidence that you can handle difficult situations. Put challenges in front of yourself that you genuinely don't know you're able to complete. Because when you do that, the training that's required, the discipline that's required, the effort that's required, the pain that's required for you to go through in order to do those things will only set you up for positive outcomes when you do take that experience and all the lessons and all the things you'll learn in doing that and invest it into your business, into your brand, and into your life in general. I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.